Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you realize your dream of building a Lego city regardless of the space you have. I receive a lot of messages and comments from subscribers who say they want to build a Lego city but just don't have the space. If you want to build a Lego city but don't think you have the space or the sets and buildings needed to create a city, you will want to watch this video till the very end. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a highly detailed, intricate and textured Lego city with just a couple of standard 32 by 32 stud base plates. Yes, you heard that right, you only need 4 of these base plates to create a Lego city. I'm going to show you how you can create a city block with just 1 base plate. If you haven't watched my previous videos on how to build a Lego building and Lego modular building, do check out those videos as the tips and tricks I share there will apply to this video. Check out the links in the description. The first thing we want to do is to lay out the city block. And what I intend to do is to have multiple buildings on either side of the base plate with a road running through. The road will measure 8 studs wide, and that is perfect for a road which is one way that runs in one single direction, or you can have it as a pedestrian only road and fill it up with market stalls. So buildings will be on either side of the road, which means that the buildings aren't really big naturally because you don't have a lot of space. And I want to work with a general scale of 8 by 8 studs for the footprint of the building. You might be thinking that is tiny. Yes, it is, but remember, you have a small space, but I will show you this is possible. So the first thing we're going to do is to lay out the sidewalks, the roads, and the plots for the buildings. This is what I mean. This is a work in progress of a city block on a single base plate. There are curbs, sidewalks, and the road in between, and buildings on either side of the road. The black outlines represent the footprint of the buildings, and I recommend that you work with 8 studs by 8 studs for the footprint of each building, and you can fit a total of 6 buildings on a single base plate inclusive of the road. In this case, I've deliberately done a layout with just 2 larger buildings here, so you can see it's possible to do buildings of different sizes. But if you want a really dense and populated base plate or city block, I suggest the 8 by 8 stud footprint, and you can have 6 buildings on 1 base plate. This building here is 8 studs by 8 studs, and I'll show that to you in just a bit. But as you can see by this concept, we have laid out an entire city block. Maybe it's still a bit bare, you can't see how detailed and rich it can get, so I'll show that to you in just a bit. But first, let's have a look at this modular building. This is not a tiny modular building, it's a tiny modular building, but it is actually minifig-scale to a certain extent because there are minifig-scale doors and you can place minifigs inside. There's enough space to create a reasonable, believable working environment for a business as well as a tiny apartment, and I'll show you the details in just a bit. I created a concept for this particular build, and my intention for this build is really to show you it is possible to create a modular style building even with this tiny footprint, and you can make it really detailed. The concept for this building is the ground floor is a chocolate bakery. That's why we have the 3D sign here. And the top floor is his little apartment, or the chef's little apartment. It is modular in design, but let me explain the stairs here. The stairs in time to come will be shared with the next building. So one set of stairs will be shared between 2 buildings because I think it's really important to have access to the second floors. You could ignore the stairs and just have the buildings without any stairs because there's no space to put stairs on the inside of a 8 stud by 8 stud building. You could do away with stairs if you want, but I think you should try to make it as realistic as possible even though you have a small space. So my solution for this is to build the stairs inside the walls of 2 buildings. So imagine there'll be another building here and there'll be a tiny set of steps to serve both buildings. For this one over here, there'll be one more set of steps, but it'll only serve 1 building. You could of course build it into the wall of the second building and just not have a door for this building so that it only uses 1 set of stairs to go up. But that's how you can save space. And on this side over here, if I've only 2 buildings, even though the buildings are larger, I can again have 1 set of stairs to serve both buildings. So I solve the problem of having access to the second floor, but I save valuable space as well. Okay, this is a modular building, which means it can be separated. I can lift it off like this, so there's a second floor, and I can lift it off so that the roof comes off as well. So let's have a closer look at this particular build. This is a chocolate bakery, and that's why there's this window here where the customers can actually buy chocolate through. There's a main door. Inside is the chocolate kitchen. Above here we actually have his apartment, and you'll see in just a bit there is a bed and a toilet and a shower. And this is the roof, which I designed as a corner build. Let me take this out. And the design, I think it's pretty interesting. It uses inverted sloped bricks to create nice detail, and these parts here are actually tap parts to create an ornate look. And of course, we do need an air conditioning unit above. Here's a look at the interior of the top floor, which is the apartment. And to get to the apartment, we go up the stairs over here and open this door to get in. Now, when there's another building built here, you can't open this door fully, so it's a bit of a squeeze, but it's a small sacrifice to put some realistic detail in a city block that fits on a single base plate. I do have safety barriers here so that the minifig won't fall over and die. On the inside, we have all the necessities, starting with this toilet. There's a shower area over here with taps. Now, this part of the apartment will get wet when showers. You could, of course, build your own bar over here with a shower curtain, but I didn't do that. But you can obviously do that if you want. There's a toilet bowl with some water inside, toilet paper, and a flush. There's a little privacy wall, and there's a bed over here with even this painting on the wall. So not much else inside, but as you can see, I've packed a lot of detail and necessary detail within this small space. On the outside, we've got this 3D chocolate sign, and this particular build is from the latest Lego Movie 2 set. When I first saw it, I thought it would be perfect for a 3D sign, and it mirrors a sign I have in my Metro City section of Small Brick City. This is basically a poster, and it's held on by jumper plates, and adds nice detail, and of course showcases what this business is. And again, so much for exterior detail on such a small build, and windows on each side as well. And here we have the chocolate bakery itself. Here we have a look at the front window where we have the chef inside ready to serve customers with the chocolate bars wrapped in red wrappers. And let's take out the minifig first so that we can see on the inside. On this side over here, we've got a counter. I'll consider those refrigeration units for his chocolate. There's a little oven and a stove to melt his chocolate. A clock on the wall. Over here we have the main door. That's the window you saw earlier on. Nothing much here except a little table or counter for him to serve chocolate to customers, and there is a sink and tap. And over on this side we have the back door, which opens up, and we even have a tiny garden with a trash can underneath the stairs, and we can assume again that this building shares the trash can. So again, lots of realistic detail within a small space, and imagine just multiplying this for each of the builds that you do on this base plate. As you can see, it is possible to create a highly detailed build even with an 8x8 stud footprint. And imagine if you could replicate that for all the plots of land you see here, including different sizes, you can really get a very bustling city block. After that, you would add in other city details like lampposts, telephones, mailboxes, minifigs, and market stalls or vehicles, and you can really create an incredible bustling city block. I'm not going to build all these up, but let me show you what I mean. And here we have the city block with a bit more detail added in. I've added in lots of minifigs, small market builds, as well as food stalls, and my coffee kiosk. Even without the buildings, you can see that there's much more bustle and life. It's really interesting. And if you think of adding in more buildings, especially if you build all of them at least 2 stories high, it is a really realistic and highly detailed city block. Of course, it is not as impressive as a full-size Lego building, but for the space you have, you're creating something really interesting. And if you have 4 of these base plates and you create 4 separate city blocks, it could rival even some full-scale Lego buildings. In terms of putting together different base plates. You could have the road such that there's a cross section, and you would have 4 base plates so that there'll be 1 intersection here and maybe smaller roads there. There's still a lot of room for you to play out with the scale, and what I suggest you do is do what I did by marking out and plotting out the footprint of the buildings and your roads. I won't suggest putting in too many large vehicles because I think that will overwhelm the city display. But if you can keep within the scale of an 8 by 8 stud building and have small builds that keep within that scale, I think that works really well. And you can come up with something you're proud of and show off to visitors when they come to your home. I hope you enjoyed this video and you'll be inspired to create your own Lego city even if you don't have a lot of space or you don't have a lot of parts. Let me know your thoughts on this tiny city builds, and if you've got any improvements, suggestions or feedback, please leave them in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.